Hey guys, my name is Nikki and welcome here to Carry Grace. All right, so today I am going to be organizing my super messy pantry. All right, so I have organized this pantry a few times since we've lived here, and I finally realized that it was time for me to purchase some different containers. Now, I was trying really hard not to have to do this, but sometimes you just have to get the right products and the right tools to simplify things. All right, so before Christmas, my pantry started out, it was kind of okay. And then we went through Christmas, we went through New Year's, there was lots of baking, lots of things going on, and it is a mess right now. I just purchased groceries, I just did my Walmart grocery pickup, and I've got food out all over my counter. I've got a small pantry, and then I have a cabinet that I want to use for baking supplies, and then I've got baking supplies kind of down in a lower cabinet, and then I have another closet that I kind of use as my overflow pantry. I just kind of use a couple of shelves in there. And so today, like I said, I purchased a few new things. I purchased some new canisters that I think are going to make a difference. So we are going to tackle this project. All right, so before we get started on this mess, let's take a look real quick at the before. Now, this is my pantry before. I've got a shelf up here. This is kind of like dinner items. I don't have a light in here, so it is kind of dark. I mean, like I said, I have organized this before, but coming through the holidays, it kind of just wasn't working. Now, y'all, check this out. I mean, seriously, you can tell my kids have basically just been throwing things in there. That is not working, obviously. Some of this just needs straightening up. Most of this just needs to be straightened up. Okay, so over here, this is all new food that has to find a home. All right, so up here, this cabinet is where I started putting baking items. I've got some canisters that I had up here. At one time I had them on the counter, thought I liked it. I ended up, they were there for a little while, but then I wanted them in a cabinet. So I put them up here, but then my little baker is my youngest son. And so because this is kind of high, it just wasn't great for big giant glass containers to be up there for him to get down. So, all right, here's a case of water. Let me move that out of the way. So I moved my big canisters down here. This is okay, but I just feel like it's still not ideal. So that's not great. And then over here, now this pantry, really this closet kind of needs a lot of work on its own, but this shelf, again, there's no light in here. This shelf is kind of just supposed to be for overflow items. So like extras of things. We're not getting in here for food on a daily basis. I've got a can of paint there next to the food. That's great. This kind of has my potatoes and onions back there. This is really just an empty drink can. That popcorn just landed there. So guys, I need some help. All right, so one thing that I did, actually the first thing that I did is I knew that I needed to figure out a better solution for all of our baking items. That was kind of the first main thing that needed to be tackled. The glass jars that I already have, they don't work very well in the cabinets that I have them in. I've tried doing them in the pantry, but there's just that pantry, I mean, it's not like the smallest pantry ever. I'm very thankful for it. But we need the pantry space for the things that we use, like for dinners and snacks and drinks and all of those kind of things. So that's kind of why I decided to put all of my baking things in the cabinet. I have extra cabinet space for those. So I made a list. I made a list of all of the things that I wanted, like baking supplies, like, you know, all the different flours that I have and oats and sugars and things like that. I made a list of the ones that I have that I keep on hand most of the time. And then I measured my shelves. And then I went on Amazon so that I could find containers that were gonna work in the shelf space that I have. Now the shelves right here, they are adjustable, but I haven't been able to adjust them well. Like it hurts my fingers, and honestly, I don't know, just wasn't working. And because of the depth of the cabinet, it wasn't really gonna benefit me any to adjust them. Like if I made one shelf taller and the other one shorter, like anyway, I didn't see that I was gonna gain any benefit from moving shelves. So I measured my shelves, I figured out, what needed to go on there. Then, like I said, I went to Amazon and I looked at all of the measurements on so many different containers, and I finally landed on a set of containers. I'm gonna show them to you. This is not sponsored. I purchased these containers and I think they're gonna be great. I took them out of the package yesterday when they came in, and I kind of placed them on the shelves to make sure that they were gonna work like I had measured for, because I'm not always the best with things like math, but they worked. So I took them out of the package, I got them cleaned, I dried them. I left them out overnight to make sure they are nice and dry. These canisters they're not really canisters, they're just containers. They're plastic containers, and they're gonna stack on each other in my cabinet. And they came with chalkboard labels. They came with a chalk marker. They came with, what else did they come with? They came with measuring scoops. So I'm super excited about this. Now, this is not gonna fix my pantry issue. My pantry issue, I feel like once I have my baking station kind of set up better, I feel like I'm gonna be able to get a better handle on the pantry, because it kind of just all works together, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna flip the camera around. I'm gonna show you the containers that I got, and then we are going to see if we can clean up this mess. All right, so this is not sponsored. These are just the containers that I found on Amazon. This is a 6 container set. You can see right here, I washed them all, stacked them up. Here's all the lids. These are the measuring cups that came with it. I think when you leave some of these scoops like in the canisters. So like I said, this isn't going to fix all of my issues, but I feel like it's going to be a good start. So let's get busy. All right, so I've got 4 of the taller containers. I don't remember the measurements on them, but they are supposed to hold a 5-pound bag of sugar and flour. So I've got 4 of these, so I know for sure that I need one for sugar, which I'm actually very low on sugar. Should have picked some sugar up. I need one for self-rising flour. I need one for regular flour. And then, so that's 1, 2, 3. And then we've gotten to where we're not really using oats like we were. So I'm gonna use the other big one for rice. And then I'm still gonna have cream of wheat. This is steel cut oats, which again, we're kind of not really going through oats like we used to. I've got just some little things. Some of these may stay in containers. I've got brown sugar that I want to put in one. So I'm gonna start with the big ones, and then we'll go from there.
I don't think we got enough time to sort out all the fights, to sort out all the lies. Oh baby, yeah.
Okay, so just in case you thought that I was nice and clean as I do these things, I am the messiest person ever when it comes to this kind of stuff. So this is what I'm left with. This one canister is left. It's my self-rising cornmeal mix. It's not something that I use often. This baking soda, and then baking powder, cornstarch. I am gonna make room for these things in my spice cabinet because these aren't things that we grab for very often, and while it would have been great if they fit where I put all those other containers, they just don't. Marshmallows, I'm gonna do something different with that. And now I've got empty containers, trash. I've got all this stuff. A whole 2-pound bag of brown sugar and the powdered sugar. It all fit in this size container. So like the flatter one. that fit in there just fine. You can see I've got containers, trash. I need to wash all of this stuff because I'm thinking that now that all this stuff is emptied, maybe not these, but definitely my OXO containers, the OXO, thinking I might use these in the pantry, either for, I don't know for what yet, we'll see. So, oh, and my rice. This was a 10-pound bag of rice. We had already used some of it, but what was left fit perfectly in the container, so I was super happy with that. All right, so do you see how much better this looks? So I've got grits, cream of wheat, flours, and sugar right there. This is why I measured. And then right here, I've got my other sugars, oats, and rice. Now technically this isn't really baking the rice, but it fits there nicely. So I like that. And then down here, that didn't really change. Now right here, I did have like one of these little baskets. Here, I'll show you what I did with it. It's actually now over here in the coffee cabinet. This is, let me just show you what's in here. This is things for making like an apple cider vinegar drink. There's honey, cinnamon, all that stuff in there. And I like to keep all that stuff together, and I just made room for that there. So that's where that is at. Now I need to tackle all this other mess. But first, I'm gonna clean all those dishes up. Then I'm gonna start working on this. And because it's funny, while I was doing all of that, these boxes finally just crushed. Because again, the one on the bottom wasn't full, and my children put full ones on top. And yeah, big mess. I did pull out, there were some things of flour down here and rice, that's where it was. So I'm gonna keep working. All right, so I'm still working on cleaning up, but I did have this new box of hot chocolate and a few left. So I went ahead and just put them in this bin. And then I've got our big bag of marshmallows. Those are the ones that we roast when we do a fire. And then this is all the little ones I have left, but we don't usually have a whole bag of big ones and little ones at the same time. So I feel pretty confident that when I get new marshmallows, either there will be less of this or less of something. So this should work just fine. And then this was not even full anymore, but I took the popcorn out of here. It usually goes in here. We just didn't transfer it during Christmas break. So I still have some room for other snacks, but usually we like to keep this full of popcorn. So another box eliminated.
There was a part of me that knew that, and still I'm caught by surprise. I thought you'd always be mine. I guess our dreams fell asleep.
Okay, so normally I unbox all of our bars and snacks and things, and I put them in these little containers. Usually there's one for crackers and then one for like just random stuff, and then bars in here. But this kind of takes up a lot of room, as you can see. So I'm gonna see if I can get them in this. This was in kind of my overflow pantry. It used to be in my refrigerator, but it really just doesn't help me in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna try moving this stuff to here and see if that gives me some more room.
There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, 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 down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. Yeah, we keep.
All right, guys, so I am done. You can see my hair is up. I have been working. I got everything put away. And y'all, everything feels so much better. This was really just a matter of getting all of our baking items in the right kind of containers so that they fit the cabinet space properly. And then from there, everything kind of trickled. I had some extra containers that I was able to use in the pantry. I'm about to show you all the containers that I have left. Not sure what I'm gonna do with them yet. I'm gonna show you all of the boxes that I'm going to have my kids take to the recycling. And then I'm going to show you in the cabinets and in the pantry and then my little overflow closet. I'm going to show you how everything turned out. Okay, so here are all of my leftover containers. I still haven't put those away yet. Those are just the little scoops that came with the new canisters or containers or whatever you want to call them. So I've got these left. I've got one of the big OXO containers left. And these are just the lids for everything. I've got 3 of these baskets left, which I'm pretty excited about. These I purchased years ago in the Target dollar spot, and I use these for lots of things. This is the only food that I got rid of. There's like barely any crumbs in that. I don't know why that was even in the pantry. And then these 2 little things of bread are just really old, so those need to go. All of this are boxes that my kids are gonna break down for recycling, trash, all of that. You can see that my counter is now clear. I got everything put away. Right here, this picture, I need to get a new picture for that, but I want that frame there because it covers up, there's like a random outlet plate that's there. It's not actually an outlet, it's just a plate. So I like that there. This is new. This is from the Target dollar spot. I've had this for, I mean, a little while, but it's still relatively new. But anyway, I like this little bit of decor. And then I've got my coffee maker. Those are K-cups. Okay, so let's look in the baking cabinet. Okay, so down here is where I have measuring cups and things like that. And look how perfectly these canisters fit in here. All of those fit in there except for that one. Now I could have got that really small one. It would have fit on top, but it would have been kind of tight, and I like this better. So like I said, I'm very happy that I spent the extra money to get containers that fill up these shelves properly. Okay, so now let's look at the pantry. We're gonna start with the floor. All right, so really all I did was clean up. I put in the extra, I had an extra thing of water. I just put it down there. This is just some drinks that we have. That's a big bag of tortilla chips that we haven't opened yet. And then I went through, this is chips and bread. Same system we've always had, just cleaned it up. This is breakfast bin. These canisters are cereal. These are 2 canisters that I was able to take out of my baking cabinet because I replaced them. So I've got one for crackers, and then that one in the back has wheat thins, not wheat thins. Those are wheat thins. That one has pretzels in it. I had that little slender clear bin that I put bars in. I found this one, it doesn't hang off as much, so I like it better. It's also a little bit bigger, so I can actually get a lot more in there, and I normally do have more bars in here. And then this little container is normally gonna just be full of crackers. This is just some extra stuff left from Christmas, but once that is gone, I will fill that up with Ritz crackers. So we usually have Ritz and saltines in here. Now this shelf is just for like dinner type items. So I've got just kind of some quick things, a few cans of things, taco shells, pasta, that kind of thing. That's stuff that we use for salads. And then up here, I showed you this. This is hot chocolate. This is popcorn. And then I put all the vitamins. I divided those into 2 bins up there. And then we've just got paper towels and napkins up there. And all of this is so much better. Again, I didn't purchase anything for anything in this closet. I basically just cleaned it up. All right, so down here, this is where the big canisters were that I didn't like having them down here. So I just put all of our overflow of drinks in here. There's K-cups, there's canned drinks. So now when my kids need to fill up the fridge, they can grab from here. All my drawers and canisters are already full of K-cups. These are just extra. That's kind of my overflow. So that is nice and neat, and I've always preferred having that stuff down low. All right, so the last shelf is really just this shelf right here. This is bread and hamburger buns that we will have for dinner this week. And then these are just overflow items. This is like stuff to make desserts. This is extra condiments. And then I was able to turn this bin. This is just my potatoes and onions. That's cleaning rags, and that's just this, and that's all I have in here is just this shelf and kind of this area. The rest of this closet is used for other things. And the very last thing I need to show you is my spice cabinet. I just kind of straightened this up a little bit, and then I made room for those baking items. Got my cornstarch, baking powder, that other container that didn't fit, baking soda, and I actually still have plenty of room in here. All of this stuff is kind of pulled forward so that there's nothing behind it so that I can reach it, because this is actually kind of tall. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's just a quick pantry kind of clean out. Like I said, I updated the canisters in my baking cabinet, but that kind of had a trickle effect on everything else. Everything is nice and put together. All of my groceries are put away, and I am excited to have this nice and straightened up after the holidays. And so now it's the beginning of a new year and everything is nice and fresh and clean. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not already subscribed, please consider subscribing down below, and I will see you guys soon.
Like the river goes, baby, going down, 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 down.